Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's your boy Marvin. I'm going to be talking about basically a YouTuber called Anton Daniels and just his comment about basically scary times we live in and what Andrew Tate said about average people will replace with AI. So I'm going to get into the. I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to get into the video, and I'm going to stop and start it and comment on what this Anton Daniels has said on this. To be honest with you, he's a YouTuber. To be honest, with
Average people will be replaced by artificial intelligence. Let me say that one more time. Average people will be replaced by artificial intelligence. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tap into that Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Let's go ahead and get it started with this.
I saw a video by the president of Microsoft, Brandon. I think it was the president of Microsoft who said, you're going to see one of the biggest threats in the future being deep fakes. Okay?
Yeah, it is.
And then you saw a similar thing being...
Deep fakes scare the fuck out of me. If there's not one thing on this earth that scares me more than deep fakes, because deep fakes are so real and the technology is so crazy to where you can literally make it seem like some person on video is saying with their voice and their likeness, and people can say and pretend like you really did it. Deep fakes are crazy. I have not seen this video before, but I'm reacting to it for the first time ever. Let's continue.
That's nuts. So using AI, someone can impersonate you on a video and basically have got a sort of control of your voice as well. That is just unbelievable. We're going into unknown territory.
Said by Google, Sergey Brin, you're going to see what's going to happen with deep fakes. And then the example of deep fakes was given by the actress from Wonder Woman. What's her name? Gal Gadot, right? Yeah. There was a deep fake porn made of her. Then there was a deep fake video made of Trump. Then there's deep fake of Joe Rogan. There's one of Morgan Freeman. Hi, yeah, I am not crazy. Morgan Freeman. Kind of goes like this. Wow. So the direction we're going with deep fake, right? When it comes down to AI, yeah. Where do you see the threat? Is that something you think about? Is that something you see as an opportunity, as a threat? And if yes, which part?
Scammers are already using your voice and your likeness in order to contact your loved ones to say, oh, send some money because your loved one is in danger and locked up. You need to get him out of jail. Scammers is already finessing.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Deep fakes are certainly going to change the world, because what we're going to have is we're going to have a post-truth society, and then the only way they're going to be able to tell you what's true or not is some committee which decides what's true and what's a deep fake. Yep. And then they're going to be in charge of the world, and then they're going to lie to you, and then you're really in trouble.
This world is over.
So that's going to be very interesting. Once you get to the point where, what did I say earlier about not being able to trust your own eyes? They're going to take that away from us soon. Then what? Then you're really in trouble. In regards to AI, I think it has to be adopted.
Because you won't be able to use your senses to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not. We already got people that believe some of the craziest stuff just based off of a narrative or being indoctrinated. And then you input fake evidence on top of that. I'll be having people like, oh, Anton, you can just look at a vlog. People be like, oh, Anton, this person is A, B, C, and D. And I'll be like, I don't really see that. I only see this from this fake blog over here. And it's not even justified. So deep fakes, I don't know why the government is not on top of that and starting to regulate what's going on. But this whole world is going to shit anyway. So don't really.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what you're actually hearing. People faking phone calls like it's really the bank or a family member or something. This is next generation stuff, and it's upon us. Even though some people don't really want to know about it at all, it's becoming a part of society, and it's becoming a part of society quick. It's nuts. It really, really is, this AI and this advanced technology.
Matter. Inside of my school, Hustlers University, we teach AI with absolutely everything. A lot of the images we generate, even on my Twitter account, is all AI. And what's actually scary about the modern world is, I don't consider myself old, I'm 36, but some of the children, I call them children, 17, 18-year-olds inside of my school, Hustlers University, they're AI wizards, and they can do magic with this stuff. Magic. Like they can literally, genuinely, Andrew Tate on the moon, and the image is generated in seconds. Like artists are going out of business. I thought AI would put truck drivers out of business. Artists are going out of business. Musicians are going out of business. It's kind of scary. I do like to think that with things like AI, there's always going to be some degree of natural separation between the men who are genuinely inventive and killers and the men who are more... Let me change the way I say that.
The lines are blurred.
I think if you're an exceptional person, a truly exceptional person, you don't have to be afraid of nearly anything. But you'll probably agree with this. In my experience, in nearly every business in the world, you have 10% killers, and then you have a bunch who want the paycheck. They do their job, but I wouldn't say they're killers. You understand? Mm-hmm. And we lived in a society for a long time where I can even tell you now, sometimes when I hire, I'll say to my cousin or to my COO, I'll say, look, either get one killer or 3 normal people. Because that's the reality. That's the basic. You either need 3 people to half do the job, or you need 1 killer to do the job. And I think that those 3 people who half do their jobs, enough to not get fired, they turn up most of it on time, but they're not really that motivated. Those are the ones who have to fear AI. I think businesses in the medium term are going to become killers and AI. I tell them now, I have some guys who work for me on one particular company and their sales staff. I was reading through the sales scripts. The killers doing really well. But the average guys have said, you're not doing much better than ChatGPT could do right now. I want to warn you that you're not doing much better than I could replace you with a machine today, let alone in 5 years from now, for free. You need to be careful. So I think it's just becoming more...
That's unbelievable. Being replaced by a machine in, say, a working class to middle class job. That's mad. That is mad. That's really, really scary. Because you think how many people are in those kind of jobs where you're actually talking to people on the phone daily. That's absolutely madness. It makes you think, what's this war coming through? That is scary, because people could lose a lot of jobs after this. It's nuts, and we as human beings got to take this very, very, very seriously. But I hope the government are going to take control over this before it gets out of hand, because I think a lot of people can lose a lot of money. And also, the average Joe Bloggs who works in a warehouse or a call center, their jobs could be seriously under pressure.
Or more competitive. The idea that you can just be Joe Schmo, do your job, turn up, I don't try that hard, it's fine. I think that's all going to go out the window, because...
And it's already gone out the window. And this is why I keep trying to convince people that it's a class war and it's not a race war. While y'all are so busy fighting these wars and trying to get reparation and trying to stay on code and all of this other type of stuff, technology and money, really, it's only 2 things. It's only 2 things, because money is the thing. Commerce, not even going to say money. Commerce, the exchange of goods and services in order to be able to feed your face and then determine who it is that controls what happens in the world. That's commerce. Commerce and who it is has what is largely going to be the determining factor for whether or not you're successful or not. And so the difference is that when I hear people say stuff like, oh man, 40,000 is enough, 50,000 is enough, we don't even have that no more. Thank God y'all came to the light and seen that $40,000 is not enough to raise a family of 4 or 5. Okay? But when you see...
It's funny, $40,000 about 15, 20 years ago was actually big money. You could live a comfortable life. Not even $30,000 in the UK, where I'm from, is not a lot of money. If you want to be really comfortable, you've got to be looking at 45 to 50, and then you've got to put in 12, 14 hours a day to get that kind of money in, or you and your family, you and your wife, or you and your girlfriend, if you're living together. It's unbelievable. 30, 35 grand these days is nothing. If you've got a mortgage, that's a struggle. And it just proves that what he said, it's not a race war, it's a class war going on at the end of the day. And only the strong are really going to survive this, that can adapt to change in their life. That is going to be very, very, very important for the next few years.
See people and they just want to show up in order to get a paycheck. He is absolutely right. That is going to be the separation between the haves and the have-nots. there will be no more middle class. It's only going to be, like he would say, killers. I say savages. It's going to be people that are high performers and savages, and those are the ones that don't sleep. Those are the ones that's obsessed with success. Those are the ones that's dedicated, and they're going to learn from everybody regardless of what they look like. And they're not necessarily going to be on code just based off of who you are, but based off of culture. That is what the thing. You are 100% right, Santandra. It's classism. It's always been classism. Black people own slaves. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to have a conversation about that. They don't really want to look at that. Black people owned slaves. If you're not continuously trying to reinvent yourself, we see people on YouTube every single day. Every single day. They was hot last year. They was hot the year before. And they've completely lost their flame, and ain't nobody even checking for them whatsoever. They not even trying to continue because they didn't have the endurance, they didn't have the innovation, they didn't have the growth, they didn't have the opportunity. We see people every day just completely fade off into oblivion, and we don't even know who they are no more. The high performers, the ones that get it, the ones that chase it, the ones that's trying to continue to reinvent themselves and improve their skills. Even if you was a software engineer in 1990 is completely different than a software engineer in 2023. You have to continuously reinvent yourself, improve your skills, get new skills, throw yourself into it. It's a.
In my last video, I was talking about that. What Andrew Tate was saying, you have to better yourself. You have to look at different avenues to turn your life around, especially if you're in a dead-end job. You have to look at management, look at free courses to do, update your CV. You've got to move quickly these days or you get left behind. And it's too easy to give up at the end of the day. I look at maybe 15 to 20 businesses a day maybe I can invest in, or just keeping my mind fresh. You've got to be able to do that, or it's going to be a struggle.
Whole nother mindset that comes with being successful, and it's going to be an even bigger shift and a bigger separation based off of class and based off of mindset that determines who's successful and who's not. He is 100% right. Artificial intelligence is here, it's been here, and it's absolutely going to change the way in which we do business.
Because as the world becomes more competitive, as a company, you have to compete with your competitors. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is just, where do you cut the fat? Where do you cut the slack? When I see AI popping up and getting more and more intelligent in the way it's talking, that doesn't scare me. But I have a way with words. If I was Joe Schmo, I'd be afraid. This chat GPT can probably text your girl better than you can. He'll probably get laid faster than you will.
Advice for the guys out there.
Yeah,
right now. Just
plug it in your phone.
Could
you imagine that, dudes using chat GPT in order to be able to spit game over the chicks? This is a wild world that we live in. I don't want no parts of it. I think I was born at exactly the right time, just enough to be able to enjoy the best of it, and then to watch as it completely self-destructs.
Than you do. So that's scary, you know? And I think that's what the average man really needs to struggle. And I've been saying, this has been my message for a very long time in all realms. I've said for a very long time that life for the average man is going to get harder and harder. It's becoming more and more competitive. You need to find more and more ways to stand out and be unique. And the only way to really do those things, unfortunately, as a man, is to suffer. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad.
Now, that's the part that people don't want to, they don't want to really do it.
I agree. You've got to suffer before things go good. I mean, if you don't go through the fire sometimes, you never know what's on the other side. I've had failed businesses. I've lost a lot of money. But I learned from it. It's be learning from it and not to give up. It's too easy to give up and think, no, I just don't give a shit anymore. I can't be bothered. You've got to find a plan B. Sometimes spend time with yourself, just switch the TV off, turn your phone off for a bit, and just think of what you're passionate about, or what would you like to do to move forward. Would you like to create a business, a clothing line? Are you good with cars? Are you good at buying and selling? You just might not have the gift of the gab. There's always something you can do if you're passionate about And that's so, so important to think these days because, like I said, after COVID, the world is changed a hell of a lot. We're not living in the same world we did in 2019. That's long gone. That world then is long gone. After COVID, there's so many different things um, which are coming out. So if you've got plans now, you have to take those plans and action them straight away. Very, very important.
The separation between the people that become great and the people that not is suffering. Suffering gives you thick skin. Suffering allows for you to learn the lessons that ensure that you can endure long enough to get to the success. Suffering gives you life lessons. Suffering, there's growth in suffering, failing forward. So many people don't want to fail, and they so afraid of somebody criticizing them from failing that they never even really step off of the porch. They so busy trying to be safe. I don't know how many times that I've heard people say something like, I don't want to be rich. I just want to get enough money to be comfortable. Then that means that you'll never ever get enough money to be comfortable, because most people that wind up getting enough money to be comfortable, they was chasing getting rich. Shout out to Patrice Jean-Baptiste. I'm going to be reading that super chat right now. He says, Anton, that's not a joke. There's a tool that already can be used to flirt via text using quotes from movies. Shout out to Patrice Jean-Baptiste. This is wild.
That God put me in jail, because if you look at anything that builds a man into a man, there's a degree of suffering. It's very hard to become a man and have a man who's respected and has stories and is capable when he only had a nice life and nice experiences. It's usually the things that made you the best version of you are usually the worst things that happen to you. So the demons I carry from jail, the fact that I can't sleep. The fact that I can't sleep, I've had girls say to me, you can't sleep, you need to see a psychiatrist. And I said, absolutely not. I would be furious if a psychiatrist walked in here and took my demons from me. I don't care if they could fix me with a click. They're mine. And they were bestowed to me by God. And they are mine to deal with, and they are mine to fix, because that's how I become a better version of me. I would be furious if someone took them away from me. I'm glad I can't sleep. Good, I can...
Which is why therapy is a scam. He broke it down much better than I ever could have. Therapy is a scam. Therapy, and let me take it one step further, and this is why I don't do drugs. I know y'all don't want to hear that. I know y'all don't believe in that. Hey, y'all always say, well, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is smoking trees. Everybody else is taking acid. Everybody else is doing meth. Everybody else is on perks. Everybody else is doing it. So it's legal. Why shouldn't we be able to do it? Because it removes and it dulls your senses that prevent you from being able to lean on your life experiences that allow for you to become a better version of yourself. You're trying to numb the pain instead of going through it. You're numbing the pain instead of it.
This is very, very important point, because I think a lot of people sometimes do turn to drugs as a way out and to numb the pain and also forget their life direction. This is why I think sometimes some people turn to the dark side, and the people they used to know in the light, they no longer like them as much as what they used to do, because those people in the light have moved on and have advanced so much. It's hard for the person in the dark to catch them, and the person in the dark have already given up. So what Andrew Tate said, he couldn't have put it much better, because it's so true. It depends on your resolve and how much you want to fight and how much you want a decent life. Most definitely.
Experiencing it and going through it. The reason why you can't compete against me is because you haven't been through what I've been through, which allows for me to endure long enough in order to get to the success. I'm willing to die for it. I'm willing to endure long enough for it. I'm not looking to overcome it. I'm looking to embrace it, because it turns me into a savage. Everybody wants to escape. Everybody wants to try to figure it out. Everybody wants to try to cope more effectively. No, I embrace the things that I went through, because that's the thing that made me the savage that I am today. when you hear people say, I went through it and that's the thing that turned me into who I am, it's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. The things that you, and I tell y'all all the time, I tell y'all on this morning show, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You didn't fail. You went through it for a reason so that you can then lean into it in order to continue to learn the lesson to get to where it is that you need to go to now. I do not drink. I don't drink. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that.
Train endlessly. That's why I'm bigger than I've ever been. I'll train I'm not going to waste a minute. But all the demons that have been given to me by God and all the problems that have been given to me by God are mine to fix. I would never, ever allow anybody else to take them from me. I'd be furious. If a psychologist came in and said I could cure you, I'd say, no, thank you. I will cure myself. I don't care if it takes 10 years. I'll cure myself. That's my job. And I know that when that's done, I will be more mentally resilient than I ever would have been without jail. That's the whole point of it, right? So many.
It's so true what Andrew Tate has just said. You can get as much therapy as you want, but it's only you yourself can mend yourself and your mental fortitude in getting through. Yeah, that I can do that. It's only you who can change yourself and go forward on things. It's just so important.
Tate comes through this, and he somehow, some way, he gets through it to where he can battle the Romanian government and comes through this, and he it's only gonna make him bigger. Every time that Andrew Tate goes through something and then he does an interview, he becomes a much bigger mythical figure, and he's doing exactly what they don't want him to do. The more that he comes through it and he's not docile as a result of it, and he's not weak as a result of it, he becomes greater and he becomes a bigger person as a result of it. Anything that doesn't break you is going to exponentially multiply who you are.
And say, I want to be the man, but they don't want to suffer. They don't want to fight. And I don't understand why, because even if you look at a superhero movie, they tell you, even in superhero movies, they make it very clear. Batman's parents died. That's why he's Batman.
Yep.
All the bad things have to happen. There's no way to get there without the bad things. I get so many emails from people complaining about their bad things, and I don't have time to reply to any of them, but if I could, I'd say good luck, congratulations, off you go. Of course she broke your heart, of course you're sad, of course you miss her. She's with me now. That's life. That's part of it. That's the only way you're going to get to that level of resilience. You can't become the man any other way. So yeah, I thank God for everything bad that's ever happened to me, and all the demons, and I trust that he's not going to give me anything I cannot in the end decipher and deal with. In the end, I think it's a puzzle, and you decipher it and you work out the best way to deal with it, and you internalize the good parts, and you become a better and stronger and more resilient person for it. Mm-hmm. So I have to thank God for every single one of them.
Well, I mean, you got to go through shit to be the shit. That's basically what it is. And by the way, what you're saying is not a hypothetical. You talk about being the average man. You see this play out on dating apps these days. Have you seen what's happened, especially on Instagram and on all the dating apps, Hinge, Bumble, and out there? The top guys out there are getting 90% of the women, whereas
the interesting thing about it is that most people that come to me, or most people that wind up subscribing to this channel, or even getting a coaching call or joining the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Most of these people, they came to me because it hurt their feelings, or they didn't like something that I said initially. I didn't like you. You made me feel bad. You hurt my feelings. I didn't agree with you. You said fuck my feelings. I got in my feelings as a result of it. And then eventually what happens is they come to the realization is that it hit them like a ton of bricks.
You know what? That's an interesting conversation about when basically, especially with this Anton guy, he goes very, very deep into what he's into, and it can hurt a lot of people's feelings. But like I said, sometimes the truth hurts, and we sometimes need to go through the mill or have a wake-up call to understand where our life's going. I think that's very, very, very important, because life's very, very short. And I think when you hit your 40s, you can't really, your 20s and 30s, you've still got a chance to do it. But when you hit your 40s, it's basically last chance saloon, because it's your energy levels are not the same when you're 20 to 30. So you need to put plans in shape, and you need to be clear-headed. Being clear-headed is so true. This is why I said sometimes turn everything off and think, where's my life going? Look in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and think, where am I going? How can I change this? How can I better things? Even if it's for half hour at the end of the day, those points of view can really set you up for a good year or for a good couple of months until you decide what you want to do. If you're between jobs, if you want to do a course of some side, if you want to go into business, look seriously, check the business out, check company's house to see whether that's legitimate. Give the company a call, check what they're making before you invest, and talk to other investors that have invested in that company. This is very very important into bettering yourself and making moves.
And they want more for themselves because it calls for them to have a self-reflection moment to say, you know what, I want to do things differently, not necessarily keep feeling a certain type of way. I don't want to operate in my femininity. I want to start exploring what it's like to operate in my masculinity. Most people that tap into me, initially, they don't like me. Ask me if I ever cared. Ask me if I ever wanted a fence rider. Because either I'm going to break you or I'm going to make you a better version of you. One or the other. Either way, it's going to happen. I told a guy yesterday, I said, man, fam, I don't think you want this. I told a guy yesterday, he had his first coaching call with me. I said, listen, this is only going to go two ways, and you need to make a very, very informed decision as to what it is that you're going to do, because this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. What's up, my friend? You busy?
Yeah, I'm headed to work right now.
Hey, I got a question for you. I'm on the live. When we had our conversation yesterday, what do you think? How do you think? What would you describe my interaction with you being towards the end?
Very direct. I mean, I really, just to be honest, I really needed that.
You said, wait, say that again. You said, just to be honest, what?
Well, yeah, just to be honest, I really needed the direct counsel that you had, and you just giving me the real of my situation based on what I've told you, and how you wanted to, assist me and where I needed to go.
Would you say that I pity patted, or I made you feel good, or I made you comfortable, anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all. You gave me the real, and you told me the steps I needed to, accomplish. And as we speak, I'm doing it right now.
And I basically told you, fuck your feelings. First time
I think this Anton guy, I think he's a bit of a counsellor, and he's very good at talking to people, helps people out, shapes people's life, asks them which sort of direction they want to go in. He's quite a credible person. I've checked him out, and his channel is very, very good. He's very deep. He's also very, very intelligent, but is also very blatant, so he can hurt feelings. But stick, if you're going to subscribe to him and check him out, stick with him, because like I said, he is a very, very intelligent guy. And the thing I like about him, he's very, very professional, and he sees things for what they are, which is important. And he doesn't beat about the bush. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you really do need that sort of a kick up the arse in life. There's nothing wrong in that.
we ever talk, I basically said, fuck your feelings.
Basically, yeah.
And I don't want to hear no bullshit from you. Right? And then I forced you to make a decision, because I told you this ain't really what you want. If you're not ready to work, if you're not ready to be great, if you're not ready to put your ego aside and humble yourself and fuck all of that therapy shit and to really get to the bag, then this ain't really what you want. Did I not say that?
That's exactly what you said.
All right, my friend. I'm going to talk to you later.
Thank you.
A lot of these women out here, you know, I like to bring the receipts. A lot of these women out here, they sit in there and say, oh my God, Anton, you're so hard on women. You're so hard on black women. Then you don't want to be a guy that's on a phone call with me. And it don't all go like that, because I give credit where credit is due. And I you know, when you're doing something great, I'm going to praise you, I'm going to acknowledge it, and I'm going to keep encouraging you to go that way. But don't come to me with no sob stories. I don't give a fuck about what your father said to you. I don't give a fuck about what your mama did. You a grown man. This is what I'm offering you. I'm offering you the truth. The only thing I care about is your success. You then become a reflection of me after we have that conversation. I'm not here to make you feel good. This is not an opportunity for us to have multiple calls. The least amount of calls that we have, the better, because that means that you fixed and that you actually get into the bag and you making adjustments. When the women sit there and complain, they don't know what my guys go through. They savages now. They monsters. They got thicker skin.
Sometimes it's like what you said, you have to go through hell sometimes to get to the top. A lot of things are going to go wrong, but you've got to take a deep breath. You can't take it on other family members. You have to deal with it. You've got to understand, why is it going wrong? Is it my time? Should I just kick back and wait? One thing I have learned in business, just be patient, because as long as you keep working, as long as you keep going, you reach your goals. Consistency is number one. One thing I've learned in my job, consistency is everything. Consistency makes money a lot quicker. You get a lot more business organized because people see you. It's just, people need to see you out there. People need to know that you're serious about yourself before they can take you serious. And I think that's very, very important. And I think Anton put himself out there very well, I think, because it is scary times, and backed up what Andrew Tate said about average people who will be replaced by AI, because the companies won't have to, all they have to do is pay for the equipment. They won't have to basically, and they, you know, when AI comes in, all these robots come in, they will work 24/7. Whereas humans will work, 8 to 10 hours maybe these days at the end of the day. So this is serious. I take this serious as scary times, because look, you know, I think the next couple of years are crucial if you want to do something now or set a business, you need to do it now. I've set up a second business a year ago, and now in logistics, and it's flying. But I knew that I just couldn't depend on 2 or 3 things. You've got to be looking into the market a lot in what to do and where to make money. That's very, very important.
They push. They advocates. They pillars for their community and their families, and they take care of their kids, and they don't sit here and have no fucking complaints about what it is that they doing. These are the type of men that y'all said that y'all wanted, right? Then let me do my job and stop complaining about how it is that I'm holding you accountable. If you don't like it, then stop sending me emails talking about my life is fucked up and I need somebody to actually tell me the truth. When you get the truth, it's going to hurt. But I guarantee you, once you get up from getting your feelings hurt and we start to cook and we start to peak and we start to push, that shit is going to be like, it's going to be like a gold rush. It's going to be like a gold rush. Let's continue.
Bottom guys, I think the stats are a third of men under 30 have not been laid in a year.
If being average is not acceptable anymore.
At all.
It's not acceptable anymore. And it's not acceptable in the sexual marketplace, but it's also just not acceptable, I don't think, even in life anymore.
Period.
You have to diversify now so much to even protect yourself. The idea that you can just be a law-abiding citizen in a country and just work your job and be okay is gone. It's gone. If COVID doesn't prove that, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Look at my situation. You have to diversify. You have to be smart enough that you have assets and friends and capability and lawyers and whatever all over the world now. That's the only way to protect yourself. You can't just sit within one jurisdiction and go, oh, well, but I don't speed, so it's going to be okay. I don't think it is. I think it's coming to a point where it's not going to be okay.
And I agree with him. I think that that's enough. I agree 100% with what it is that he's saying. He's basically breaking down the idea that being average or being right in the middle of the pack is not going to be safe for you. It's not going to be safe for you. Everybody is going to suffer. The thing that you have to ask yourself is, how bad do you want to suffer to get to the other side of that conversation?
Yeah, this serious stuff. Very, very serious stuff. I mean, if you look on YouTube now and you look at how many people are talking about AI and is sophisticated intelligence, and like I said, what Andrew Tate, what young people are actually doing with it now, it's taken over, and you have to keep up with the times. It's very, very, very important to read and keep up with AI's going, how it can affect your life, how you can improve and move up through the ladder to keep up with the Joneses. It's like I said, being working class is just not enough these days. It's just not enough. It really isn't enough. You've got to push yourself to the max. I know one thing. I'm never going to stop and like I said, I'm in my 40s, and I said I'm never going to stop until I get where I got to get. You know, I've got 3 successful businesses. 2 of them with my brother. One of them I built from 2005. And like I said, you've got to keep going until you reach a certain mark where you think, yeah, I'm there. But don't stop. Be determined, and just keep up with knowledge and always look to improve yourself. That's if you want to. No one can ever force you to do anything, but improvement in life is very, very important, because what we see coming in, the next couple of years, where AI will replace a lot of average jobs, that's very, very seriously, that's like 40-50% of the work market. And what you're going to do if you haven't got a job, or you haven't improved on maybe taking a course, the business studies course, travel, move about a bit, look at jobs abroad. These things are really, really important. Anyway, thank you for all listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and support me, Marvin. I talk about many, many, many topics. And if you'd like me to talk about a topic that's close to your heart and that you're interested in, then let me know. We can have a conversation about it. Just inbox me or something. Okay, take care, everybody. Have a nice weekend.